Right, this is going to blow your mind. Take a look at this 70-year-old photograph. It's about 3 inches across and it's pretty damaged and worn out. The only photo that exists in the family. Now let's take a look at what Luminar Neo can do in a matter of seconds. A complete restoration in either black and white or color using the power of AI. Right, we're going to see how all of this works. Now, Luminar Neo has had a brand new update with some incredible features, including that photo restoration, light depth, which I am particularly excited about, and the all-new Luminar Mobile with cross-device editing. Let's take a look at this amazing photo restoration. Now, first you'll want to scan all of your photographs into a digital format. Or like me, you can take a raw image using a high-resolution camera in a well-lit room. Import the raw files into Luminar Neo and you're ready to start restoring. And here is the photograph that we'll be working on. And as you can see, it's terribly damaged with cracks. It's faded after 70 years. And also, if we zoom in a bit, you'll see that it's not particularly in focus to begin with. Now, on the catalog tab at the top here, you'll find a new feature down in enhancement tools called restoration. Simply drag your image into the box to start. And Luminar Neo will give you 3 options: scratches, color, and full. So let's go with a full restoration to begin with. And after some processing power, depending on your computer and internet connection, because remember this technique uses AI, it will present you with a fully restored image. In just one click, it's taken a completely beaten up photograph and removed any cracking, faded detail, enhanced it with sharpening, and added realistic vintage colors. Now, when I first saw this in action, my jaw just about hit the floor. Now, the vintage color is a little too strong for my preference. I prefer something a little more natural. So we can open up the adjustments panels and make any changes we want, just like it was an original raw file. Using the color tab, we can remove that yellowy color cast, perhaps cooling the warm yellow tones even further with the temperature sliders, boost the vibrance a touch, and then head into the HSL sliders to tweak some individual colors like blue and skin tones, etc. Finally, we can take some of the smaller details and add texture into the image. And this photograph is ready to deliver to the client or your eagerly awaiting family members. But wait, what if I didn't want this image in color? We have a few options. The first is to use the scratches mode from the restoration panel, and the results offer some equally impressive details in the hair and facial features. It's even added some realistic canvas textures if you look closely. Placing it side by side with the original scan, the finished product kind of leaves you lost for words. But if you liked what the AI did with the previous color image, another option is that you can simply convert this into a black and white, maybe add some contrast using the curves. You can even take a fully restored portrait and give it a further makeover by applying a retouch using Skin AI to remove shiny skin and skin defects. Perhaps use Face AI to brighten the skin and apply a classic rouge lips and whiten the teeth. I cannot wait to show these images to the family and see their faces light up, because remember, this image only existed on 3-inch 70-year-old photo paper that had seen much better days. Right, I'm going to head downstairs and show you something even more incredible. Right, so this is an image of my wife's grandparents taken in the 1950s. It's on a canvas print taken from a photograph of an original photograph. So the quality is degraded through each iteration. Some of the detail is just gone. The original photograph has been lost in time. Nobody can find it, so this is it. Right, so what I'm going to do is take a photograph simply using my iPhone and include some of the white kitchen wall that's behind it. And that looks to be pretty good. Time to go back upstairs. Right, so this is the image I just took downstairs, imported into Luminar Neo. So let's quickly break it down. It looks like they're both walking down a flight of stairs, possibly an aircraft boarding staircase, but there's not really much to go on. Let's put it through a full photo restoration. About 30 seconds later, this pops out and it's absolutely unbelievable. Taking the negative white space from the kitchen wall and using AI, Luminar Neo has correctly placed Gran and Grandad exactly where they would have been back in the 1950s, disembarking the front of an airplane. The skin tones are spot on and the colours of the airplane complement the blues in his suit. Now, when I showed this to my wife, she spontaneously burst into tears. And this got me thinking, while I'm accustomed to using the wizardry of photo editors every day, the results from Luminar Neo can have a profound effect on other people. Seeing your memories of loved ones brought back to life in high definition detail and full color, this is one very powerful tool. All of these images were fully restored in just a few clicks and sent back to the family members for safekeeping. Yet another brilliant new feature in the latest update of Luminar Neo is what's called light depth, and it's in the creative section. And what this does is analyze a scene and determine what is the foreground from the background and everything in between. If we choose a suitable image like this skateboarder, you'll notice that while it's a pretty good image, he's not particularly standing out from the background. Subject isolation could be better. Check this out. Let's apply a light depth adjustment and go with an amount of 50%. Now watch this preview window just here. As we drag the slider from background to foreground, we can see the light being redistributed three-dimensionally, finding that sweet spot on the skateboarder. Opening the advanced settings, we can make the background even darker still, perhaps change the temperature for even more subject isolation. Zooming in reveals how his hair and clothing really jump out from the background. How cool is that? Let's take another image. This red Ferrari. There's a little too much brightness in the background and not enough attention on the car itself. Let's push the amount to the full 100%. Find that sweet spot using the visual representation window. Softening the effect a touch. Advanced settings, we can darken the farthest parts of the background and use those cooler tones for even more subject isolation. A quick before and after. Just a brilliant and easy way of relighting a scene using three-dimensional depth. And all of this is achieved without any masking work or object selections. Big fan of this new feature. Right, let's talk about the jewel in the crown to this big update, the Luminar Neo Ecosystem, which incorporates their all-new mobile editing platform. For instance, you can be out in the field taking photos with your big Sony Alpha or your iPhone 17 Pro with that amazing new camera. Right, so here's a nice street photography scene with a reflection. Let's open up Luminar Neo Mobile Editor and import that image and make some adjustments like enhance AI to boost saturation and shadows, raw contrast, tone down the structure somewhat, and then using relight we can darken the far brightness and near brightness. And that's now been added to Luminar Space and synced across all of my devices signed into the same account. Back to the studio. Right, so we're back in the studio. If we now open up our desktop editor, navigate to the Luminar Mobile catalog, that image we edited out in the streets of London now appears as if by magic with adjustments applied. Simply import to folder. From here, you'll see all of the adjustments you applied out in the field, and you can continue editing from where you left off and refine the image ready for posting. A brilliant seamless ecosystem for your phone, tablet, and desktop. So coming up this week is a Black Friday event where you can save up to 77% off Luminar Neo, which is one of the biggest photography deals of the year, so well worth checking out. I'll pop links in the description below. And all of these new features are in addition to the already popular tools like Sky AI, Twilight Enhancer for richer colors, Neon and Glow for those creative projects, Water Enhancer AI recognizes a body of water and brings it to life, Studio Light for imaginative portrait work, Magic Lights, focus stacking, and a whole host of assets, presets, and overlays. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you did, please give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more photography content. I'll see you on the flip side.